Thanks to modern technology, there are supergiant recycling plants that give old batteries a second life. They transform waste into raw materials, lithium, cobalt, nickel, lead, and more, that go right back into making new batteries and powering our world again. Today, we'll take you on a mind-blowing journey inside one of these massive recycling facilities. You'll see how millions of tons of old batteries are collected, sorted, shredded, melted, purified, and reborn into new sources of power. So buckle up. This is the incredible story of battery recycling at a supergiant scale. Every year, humanity produces more than 15 million tons of used batteries. Think about that for a moment. With the boom in smartphones, laptops, and especially electric cars, battery demand has skyrocketed, and so has battery waste. The problem? Batteries are not ordinary trash. If dumped in landfills, they leak heavy metals like lead, cadmium, and mercury. These chemicals seep into the ground, contaminating soil and water. Worse, lithium-ion batteries can catch fire and explode when punctured. But there's another side to the story. Batteries are also a gold mine of resources. A single ton of used lithium-ion batteries contains far more cobalt than natural ore mined from the ground. Recycling batteries not only prevents pollution, but also reduces the need for destructive mining. That's why supergiant recycling plants are springing up worldwide. These facilities take mountains of old batteries and transform them into pure reusable metals, closing the loop of the battery life cycle. The journey begins with collection. Used batteries come from everywhere. Consumers dropping AA batteries at recycling bins. Industries sending bulk shipments of car and truck batteries. Electric vehicle manufacturers recycling worn-out lithium-ion packs. At the plant's entrance, trucks unload giant crates filled with old batteries. Workers in protective suits and gloves begin the sorting process. Why sort? Because not all batteries are the same. There are alkaline batteries, AA, AAA, household types, lead-acid batteries used in cars and backup power systems, lithium-ion batteries, phones, laptops, EVs, nickel cadmium and nickel metal hydride batteries, older electronics, tools. Each type needs a different recycling process. Sorting is done both manually and with machines that scan battery size, shape, and chemical signatures. It's the first step to ensure safety. Mixing lithium batteries with lead-acid ones could cause fires. Once sorted, the batteries move into the mechanical processing area. Here, the magic begins. For alkaline batteries, the process is relatively simple. Machines shred them into tiny pieces. Magnets pull out steel parts, while chemical baths separate zinc and manganese for reuse. For lead-acid car batteries, things get more dramatic. Workers use automated saws to cut them open. The plastic cases are washed and melted into pellets for reuse in new battery casings. The sulfuric acid inside is neutralized into water or converted into sodium sulfate, a compound used in detergents. The lead plates are melted in giant furnaces, purified, and recast into ingots, ready to make new car batteries. But the most fascinating process involves lithium-ion batteries. These are carefully discharged to remove leftover energy to prevent fires. Then they are shredded inside oxygen-free chambers, where sparks can't ignite. The shredded mixture, called black mass, contains cobalt, nickel, lithium, and graphite. This black powder is the treasure chest of the future. Now comes the high-tech part. Extracting pure metals from the black mass. The shredded material is put through hydrometallurgical processes. In giant tanks, acids and solvents dissolve the metals. This step requires extreme precision. A single impurity can ruin a new battery. That's why labs inside the plant constantly test the metals, ensuring they meet 99.9% purity standards. What's amazing is that almost 95% of the materials in a lithium-ion battery can be recovered. That means the same cobalt and lithium used in your old phone might end up powering someone else's electric car tomorrow. With pure metals in hand, the recycling plant hands them over to battery manufacturers. Cobalt and nickel powders are shipped to cathode factories, where they are layered into high-performance battery cells. Lithium carbonate is used to make electrolytes and cathode materials. Lead ingots are recast into brand new car batteries. Even the plastics and steel parts find new life in different industries. The circle is complete. An old battery becomes the raw material for a new one. Instead of mining the earth, recycling plants mine the past. To understand the mind-blowing scale, imagine this. A single supergiant plant can process over 100,000 tons of used batteries every year. That's millions of EV battery packs, or billions of AA batteries. The facility is massive. Sprawling warehouses filled with conveyor belts, shredders, furnaces, and chemical tanks the size of swimming pools. Hundreds of workers operate machinery, while robotic arms handle the most dangerous tasks. The result? Every year, thousands of tons of lithium, cobalt, nickel, and lead are returned to the global supply chain, worth billions of dollars. Battery recycling isn't just about economics, it's about saving the planet. Mining cobalt and lithium often causes deforestation, water pollution, and human rights issues. Recycling reduces the need for new mining, protecting fragile ecosystems. Instead of turning into dangerous waste, old batteries become part of a green, circular economy. If you found this journey fascinating, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss our deep dives into the hidden processes that power our modern lives. Share this video with a friend, because the more people know about recycling, the greener our future will be. Together, let's transform waste into wonder. In a handful of modern recycling factories across the US, broken bottles, shattered windows, and piles of glass waste are getting a brand new life, as colorful, durable tiles for homes, offices, and even luxury hotels. In today's video, we're going to take you inside one of these factories and show you exactly how trash becomes treasure. From the moment the glass arrives to the moment the finished tiles are packed and shipped, you'll see every step in the journey. And trust me, it's way more fascinating than you think. Before we jump in, if you love discovering how everyday things are made and how waste can be turned into something amazing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. We post fascinating behind-the-scenes stories every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, let's head inside the factory. It all starts with mountains of glass waste. Every single day, trucks pull up to the factory loaded with recycling bins, giant bags from construction sites, and crates from municipal collection programs. This isn't just beer bottles and soda jars, it's everything. Old mirrors, cracked windshields, broken tabletops, even glass from demolished buildings. If it's glass, it can be recycled. At the gate, every load is weighed. The weight, the source, and the type of glass are recorded. That way, the factory can track exactly where each batch came from. It's like keeping a paper trail, but for glass. Here's the thing about glass waste, it's never just glass. You've got bottle caps, plastic labels, bits of ceramic, maybe even a stray fork or two. All of that has to go. So the first stop is the sorting line. Workers stand along fast-moving conveyor belts, pulling out big contaminants by hand. Anything that could jam the machines or ruin the tiles. Next, the glass passes through high-tech separators. Air jets blow away lightweight trash like labels and paper. Magnets remove any metal, like jar lids or steel bottle rings. Screens and sifters shake out small stones or dirt. Then comes the washing stage. Imagine a giant industrial dishwasher. Jets of water blast away leftover liquids, sticky soda residue, and fine dust. After this bath, the glass sparkles. Some factories sort glass by color at this point: clear, green, amber, because it makes it easier to control the final tile color. Others keep it all mixed for a more speckled mosaic look. Now the clean glass heads to the crusher. This thing is a beast. Huge spinning hammers smash the glass into small chunks called cullet. If you've ever dropped a glass and seen it break into thousands of tiny pieces, this is the same idea, except controlled and consistent. The pieces are usually between the size of a pea and coarse sand. Why crush it? 2 reasons. 1, smaller pieces melt more evenly later in the kiln. 2, it's easier to mix with other ingredients when it's fine. The finer the glass, the smoother the final tile surface will be. For some designs, they even grind it to a powder so fine it feels like flour. Crushed glass alone can't hold the shape of a tile. It needs a glue to bind it together. This is where binders and additives come in. The cullet goes into massive mixing drums, along with clay or porcelain powder, gives the tile strength and structure. Pigments, or color. Want a bright cobalt blue kitchen backsplash? That's thanks to a pinch of mineral pigment. Fluxing agents. These lower the melting point of glass so the factory can save energy when firing. The recipe is like baking cookies. A little too much of one ingredient and the whole batch turns out wrong. Technicians carefully measure each component to make sure every tile looks and performs exactly the same. Once mixed, the material feels a bit like damp beach sand, gritty but moldable. Here's where the transformation starts to get exciting. The glass mixture is fed into tile presses, huge machines that slam down with tons of pressure, squeezing the mix into perfectly flat, square shapes. These presses can pump out hundreds of tiles per hour. For more artistic or decorative tiles, the mixture is poured into molds instead. Some designs even sprinkle in bigger chunks of colored glass at this stage, so when the tile is fired, you get gorgeous jewel-like specks inside. When they come out of the press or mold, the tiles look, well, kind of dull. They're just pale, chalky shapes. But that's about to change in the kiln. Freshly shaped tiles are still damp from the mixing process. If you put them straight into a hot kiln, they'd crack from the steam pressure. So they go into drying chambers, long, warm tunnels where hot air gently removes the moisture. This can take anywhere from a few hours to overnight, depending on the tile size. By the time they leave, the tiles are completely dry and ready for the big heat. The firing stage is where these lifeless chunks of glass and clay turn into something you'd actually want on your kitchen wall. The tiles are loaded into tunnel kilns, basically giant ovens the length of a city bus. Slowly, they move through zones that get hotter and hotter until the temperature reaches between 1,500 degrees and 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit, about 800 to 200 degrees Celsius. At these temperatures, the glass particles soften and fuse together into a solid mass. Pigments wake up, revealing their final, vibrant colors. Any larger decorative chunks melt just enough to bond with the rest, creating smooth, glassy patterns. The factory controls the firing time and temperature down to the minute. Go too hot, and you lose the color. Too cool, and the tile stays brittle. When the tiles leave the hot zone, they can't just be dumped into room air, they'd shatter from thermal shock. Instead, they pass through an annealing section, where the temperature drops slowly over several hours. This gradual cooling relieves internal stress, making the tiles much stronger. By the end of this stage, they're cool enough to handle, and they look completely different from when they went in. Smooth, colorful, and solid. Some tiles go straight to packaging, but many get extra treatment to make them even more beautiful or practical. Polishing for a glossy, mirror-like finish, texturing for slip-resistant surfaces, perfect for bathroom floors, glazing to add shine, depth, or patterns. The finishing line is where tiles really show their personality. It's also where quality inspectors check for chips, cracks, or color issues. Anything less than perfect gets recycled back into the process. Finally, the good tiles are stacked into cardboard boxes, cushioned to prevent damage, and labeled with size, color, and batch number. The boxes are loaded onto pallets, shrink-wrapped, and rolled onto trucks. Some will head to local home improvement stores, others to high-end designers or export markets. From here, they'll be installed in kitchens, hotel lobbies, swimming pools, anywhere a beautiful, durable tile is needed. It's proof that with the right technology and a little creativity, Even broken trash can be turned into something beautiful and lasting. And that's the incredible journey of how broken glass gets a second life as beautiful, durable tiles. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look and want to see more amazing transformations like this, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. In the United States, millions of cars reach the end of their life every year. Some are the unlucky victims of highway accidents, twisted and mangled beyond recognition. Others simply grow old, engines worn, frames rusting, electronics failing, until repairs become more expensive than the vehicle is worth. But not all disappear into the shadows. In the heart of America's industrial landscape, there are places where endings are turned into beginnings. Today, we're taking you inside one of the most extreme processes in the automotive world. How old cars are stripped, crushed, and reborn as pure scrap metal. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos on incredible industrial processes from around the globe. Trust me, today's journey from a beat-up car to a gleaming pile of scrap metal will blow your mind. Before the real destruction begins, the car is picked apart with surgical precision. Workers move quickly, armed with wrenches, power tools, and an intimate knowledge of automotive anatomy. Every piece that can be reused, resold, or repurposed is removed. The headlights are unbolted and set aside, destined for resale to a body shop. Side mirrors, door handles, and the steering wheel are removed. Small parts that can still command a decent price in the used parts market. Wheels and tires are pulled off, their rubber still worth something to a driver somewhere. The catalytic converter is always a priority, containing small amounts of precious metals like platinum, palladium, and rhodium. It's one of the most valuable components in a modern car. Mechanics handle it with care, knowing it might be worth more than all the other parts combined. Seats, seat belts, dashboards, all come out if they're in good condition. Even the battery is lifted out and sent to a separate recycling line, where its lead and acid will be processed under strict safety protocols. To a casual observer, this dismantling might seem like unnecessary effort before the crushing begins. But for the scrapyard, it's a vital part of the business. Selling these components helps offset the costs of operation and ensures that usable resources are not destroyed prematurely. Once stripped of its valuable parts, the car is drained of the liquids that once kept it alive. The process is methodical. A suction pump draws out the engine oil, thick and blackened from years of use. Coolant is siphoned from the radiator, its once bright green now faded to a dull, murky hue. Transmission fluid, brake fluid, and power steering fluid all flow into separate containers. Gasoline still left in the tank is carefully pumped out and stored for reuse. Even a nearly empty tank can yield a gallon or two, enough to be worth saving. This step is more than a matter of thrift. Left inside the car, these liquids would leak out during crushing or shredding, contaminating the soil and water supply. Oil can cling to soil particles for decades, and even a small amount of coolant can be deadly to wildlife. By draining every drop, scrapyards not only meet environmental regulations, but also fulfill an unspoken responsibility to protect the land around them. Now the car stands empty, hollowed out, and dry. This is when the true spectacle begins. The crusher, a machine as tall as a two-story house and weighing tens of thousands of pounds, looms over the stripped carcass. It's a simple design in principle, a massive hydraulic press with the power to flatten steel like paper.